TV. From out west where the turf meets the surf, we're on track live from Del Mar. 7 furlongs, 1 ticket to the Breeders' Cup.
And wait a minute.
The Grade 2 Pat O'Brien delivers a win-and-you're-in showdown for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Then it's north to Woodbine, where top fillies and mares go toe-to-toe in the Grade 3 Seaway. Summer action that can't be beat today on the FanDuel Racing app.
It's a special Saturday of racing here, and we are live in our Los Angeles studios. Caleb and Curtis taking you through here the early proceedings in our North American racing, and certainly a smorgasbord of attentions and tracks that we'll get to here today coming up, Curtis.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to even just in this hour. We still have some international racing left to go, one left to go out at York, so we'll check back in with Jess Stafford. We've also got Kate and Bradar at Ellis Park. It's closing weekend because then your favorite track is coming up soon, Kentucky Downs.
I've already got them printed there for Thursday. Going to be a lot of fun coming up starting next week. But we are going to have, as you mentioned, we're going to check in with Jess here in just a bit. Caton on site there from Kentucky. I'm going to have a play of the hour coming up for each of our 3 hours today. And also a look back at last night. I had a really fun rendition of the Charlestown Classic. Skippy Longstocking could not complete the three-peat, but the Warhorse of the Year, Banishing, was able to get the win.
I mean, you give him any kind of setup. If he's sprinting, he's routing, he's in the bull ring setup, he's a big long track. Banishing is such a cool horse. And a special hello to everybody out there on the social media show as well this morning.
All right, so we have Jess Stafford with us, as she has been all morning with Ashley Mayu. And Jess, it's been a lot of fun here this week with some big-time Breeders' Cup implications. I know you were talking us through the races earlier, but for the American viewers maybe just tuning in, what did we miss?
Yeah, well, it's been a great way to end out the 4 days of the York Ebor Festival. It's a bit of a party celebration here. And if you missed the action that Ashley and I brought you through, well, you missed the first running of the Group 1 City of York Stakes. And it was a blanket finish. It was a great thrill to watch. Never So Brave really embodied his name. Ridden by Oisin Murphy for Andrew Balding. He was covered up for the most part, but then the splits opened. He's in the blue, the yellow and the blue cap, and at this stage where Quinault in the green, who was the long-time leader, he just began to tire out. The pace collapsed according to Oisin Murphy, and Never So Brave was able to dig deep. The favourite Rosalian, who was a former 2000 Guineas winner, was coming back to the 7 furlongs for the first time since his 2-year-old days, and ultimately he found the sharp test just that little bit too quick for him. But Never So Brave has gone on this upward trajectory this season. He's gone from handicapper to Group 2 winner to Group 1 winner, and the future looks so bright for him now. International travel could be on the agenda, considering he's a 4-year-old gelding. He's got a long career ahead of him wherever they decide to go. There was some reasonable prices today. We saw Ethical Diamond land the fiercely competitive Ebor handicap. 22 runners went to post, and he was given a perfect ride by the champion jockey of this week, William Buick. He was like a knife through butter. He sleuthed through the field and came home very strongly indeed. King of City started the day off well for Sean Levy and Richard Hannon. He won on the nod, and that was the theme of today. We had some very close finishes. Tarriance was one of them, Northern Ticker too, and the fast speedball, that was Revival Power, who gave the Yorkshire locals something to shout about as she was trained by a York favourite and a York stalwart in Tim Easterby. So that rounds it up. That's been the York Ebor Festival. We've had a great time here. We've got one more race left to come, but I hope you've really enjoyed the Group 1 action. We've had the likes of Mini Hawk, Ombudsman, Asphora, and Never So Brave, the Group 1 winners. We've had some Breeders' Cup winning you're in races too, and hopefully we might just see Ombudsman and maybe even Mini Hawk come to Del Mar at the end of the year. Those have been the biggest storylines of this week for you guys.
We are hoping to see it here, Jess. Thanks a lot. And again, that one final race to come from York. So we had those group stakes earlier today, Curtis, from York. But we also have a great stakes race, a big one, a Breeders' Cup win, and you're in today at Del Mar.
Yeah, the Pat O'Brien Stakes coming up later on, part of that dollar pick six that is an Andrew Jackson shy of $58,000 carryover. And some interesting runners in here. A big field, Bob Baffert with 2. May Moon we haven't seen in about a year and a half. He'll be breaking from post 4. Speedboat Beach, who's just ultra fast, but you know, coming off a very disappointing effort at Churchill Downs last out. I feel bad for Dr. Venkman. Caleb, this horse, Mark Gladys said he doesn't like being inside of runners. And where does he draw for the second straight race? Right smack dab on the rail.
You know, last year was not necessarily a vintage rendition of the Pacific Classic, but Dr. of England was even money in last year's Pacific Classic. But Speedboat Beach, you know, if we can draw the line through that race, I mean, you go back to him in the Malibu, and this guy, Speedboat Beach, on debut at Del Mar, set the track record just right out of the box. So we know this guy has missile speed.
And he's coming out of a really strong fourth in the Breeders' Cup Sprint as a 3-year-old. I mean, the fact that Elite Power was the winner, Gunite, those were the top 2 dirt sprinters by far in the country. Nakatomi was 3rd in that spot. So for Speedboat Beach to come out of that race as a 3-year-old and go right to the Malibu, he made $1.60. It looked like an easy gift.
And Hijazi was there in 2nd, so certainly led him the whole way. And then Stronghold. You know, Stronghold, even though it never quite made the internal fraction, he actually struck the lead, turning for home in the Kentucky Derby. Guy can really run, and here he was in the Malibu putting in a bold effort.
And you see the son of Ghost Zapper he's just a hard-trying horse. I mean, you forgive the Pegasus World Cup when he tried that back in January. We haven't seen him since then, but this Malibu Stakes effort to be a good second behind Raging Torrent, who's been a multiple Grade 1 winner now for Team Doug O'Neill. It really can't take anything away from him other than the fact that he's of that B plus quality, which if you're an owner, you love having horses like this. When you're running in graded stakes races in California, oh man, that makes it tough to really back you at 3-1.
And then taking a look here at other contenders like, you know, Spirit of McKenna had it going really well a couple years ago. His form has fallen off a bit. Express Train, the Timeless Warrior. How did you think that the Express Train found his way to this race?
Well, I think at this point, the 8-year-old they figured out isn't going to be of the Pacific Classic caliber. He tried the San Diego Handicap last out and was a very dull 5th there. So at this point, cut him back maybe 1 mile 7 furlongs right within his realm. 3 of his 7 wins have been here at Del Mar. He likes to wake up and run big here in the Seaside Oval. So I think at 12-1, even if you don't like him to win, use him underneath in your exotics.
As you mentioned yesterday, it was so challenging at Del Mar that there wasn't even one live horse into the final race to hit the pick 6. So it's going to carry over to today. You mentioned just shy of $58,000, and it's going to be a $1 base wager.
And I have a key to the pick 6 coming up a little bit later when I call my shot at Del Mar. Not a favorite. It's not going to be in the Pat O'Brien Stakes, but it is going to be in that sequence. So you pick 6, even pick 5, pick 4 players. I'm kind of hinting where this race might fall. I got one for you coming up later, so stay tuned.
And your Call Your Shot segment hit last Saturday, race 1 for Phil D'Amato to kick off the card in a winning way. So looking forward to that later on in the show. And oh, by the way, you see that bottom part of your screen, bet on FanDuel Racing. That's what you can do with the Grade 1 Travers coming up later on this afternoon. And I've been saying it all week. You know, the fact that some great athletes have an effect on their opponents, that's what Sovereignty has done in this minuscule field of 5.
Everybody's making fun of the fact or lambasting the field for only having 5 runners. First of all, the last time they had 5 runners was 1994. Holy bull concern. Find me a better 5-horse field for the Travers with those 2. There's cause for concern. Tom Durkin's legendary call. At this point, who wants to lose to Sovereignty again? Baeza? No. Journalism? No. Magnitude presents an interesting challenge for him as we take a look back at the win in the Belmont Stakes here. We know Sovereignty loves to have somebody to run after. It just happened to be my boy Journalism that in 2 races on the Triple Crown, Journalism's got the lead midway home, and here comes Sovereignty.
I mean, it was a carbon copy of the Derby. As a matter of fact, Baeza was 3rd. I mean, this is the exact same scenario for the Derby that played out in the Belmont. And considering he's getting the old congratulatory pat on the shoulder, this is a horse, the old adage of they're not getting to the bottom of him, I think he's still got more to give.
I've been watching the Jim Dandy. Junior Alvarado just stopped riding at the 8th pole. He's like, I'm past Baeza, I've got it, save more for the Travers, because that's going to be a bigger test for him.
Bill Mott plus Godolphin. Let's take a look at the last 14 runners, and it is just winners everywhere here for the Hall of Famer. And, of course, Godolphin, who's going to win, I believe, their 6th straight owner eclipse and 5th straight breeder eclipse this year.
And some notes up here. Playa del Mar, of the horses that didn't hit the board, Playa del Mar was 4th, came back, and won on the 22nd. Thunder Roll, you see, was 6th. Bill Mott won that race. It just wasn't a Godolphin runner, but I do want to shout out our colleague Dave Weaver because this was something he caught on to about a month or so ago and asked for this graphic to be put up. So Dave Weaver helping you try to track which horses are going to be live for Bill Mott, especially when they're going to be prices.
And, you know, one horse here, Chillax, When the season started for Sovereignty, right before he came back in the Fountain Youth, everybody was worried. They're like, oh my gosh, he's getting outworked by the stablemate. He was actually working pretty competitively with Chillax. That horse took a while to get to his win, but certainly a talented horse who was training with Sovereignty earlier this year. Now, for Sovereignty, he's pacing the way here on our buyer chart. And if you wonder how accurate the buyers are, well, look at the top names here on this list. And just by one single point, Sovereignty the best so far this year for the 3-year-olds.
But he's going to have to go up against Magnitude, whose last 2 races have been ultra impressive. I know the Risen Star Stakes earned him that gaudy buyer speed figure, and I was one of the people that thought there's no way he's going to back this up in the Iowa Derby. Okay, he didn't beat anyone of quality, right? But it's how he did it, Caleb. The same way he did it at the fairgrounds. Ben Curtis unlocked the key to this horse's true potential, which was send him out of the gate. He went 110 and change for the 6 furlongs. Sovereignty, the only time he's faced that kind of speed was the Kentucky Derby. You've got 5-horse field. The only one that's really got that kind of speed is Magnitude, and now he's second off the long layoff. Listen, you can make a solid case for him beating Sovereignty here. And, you know, for Magnitude, 40-1, like you mentioned, the Risen Star, 108 buyer, wins by 9. But the information we got out of that race, you know, the 5th place finisher came back American Promise to win the Virginia Derby by 7. The 9th place finisher was second in the Virginia Derby. And the horse he put away, Magnitude, East Avenue, he came back and nearly won the Bluegrass. Yeah. And you look at the last 2 races for Sovereignty, average buyer, 107. Last 2 races for Magnitude, average buyer, 107. Pretty solid there. And American Promise, you mentioned, won the Virginia Derby for the late, great coach D. Wayne Lukas, and Andy Biancone had a nice little package here, a video tribute for D. Wayne Lukas that happened at Churchill a couple days ago.
Tuesday, August 19th of 2025 marked a special day within our racing community. We celebrated the life of Wayne Lukas with a lovely memorial put on by his family in the First Turn Clubhouse. People from all over the nation came by to celebrate the mark he not only left on the lives of several individuals, but our entire racing community as a whole.
Certainly he's going to live on in the hearts and the lives of each of us. He's touched millions of people and certainly touched me in a great way.
Well, me and my family have decided to go a different career path than the foundation my grandfather and father set the foundation for. The lessons are applicable to anything in life. Give everything you have to your passion. Eliminate the excuses. Relentless pursuit of excellence with everything you do. And share successes with others.
He leaves a legacy of a beautiful family, a lot of admirers, both who worked for him, worked with him, competed against him. But I think, you know, he leaves behind a game that he permanently changed and a sport that'll never be the same without him.
Wayne, this is not goodbye. It's just until we meet again.
It was incredibly special to be there. I mean, not a dry eye in the house, reflecting Wayne's incredible, incredible life. It is a massive loss, but we will always continue to celebrate the life and legacy of Wayne Lukas.
Lots of emotion and an absolute packed house there for that ceremony for Wayne Lukas. And, you know, we're getting ready to embark on football season. A lot of the great Hall of Fame football coaches, towards the end of their career, you know, you're going to tail off a little bit. Wayne Lukas, 2 years ago, won the Oaks. Last year, won the Preakness, and this year had a start in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, and I'll always remember him most for winning colors with the Kentucky Derby, the last filly to get the job done. There's an amazing story behind that you can read more about. But the fact that he had faith that a filly was going to win the Kentucky Derby, that he could be the one to do it when you had people like Woody Stevens telling him, you're crazy, you're nuts, that'll never happen. A girl can't beat the boys, is exactly what he told the coach. The coach said, watch me.
Absolutely reshaped the game, Wayne Lukas, and a great tribute to him earlier this week. And a who's who of racing was there at Churchill Downs. Now, for our plays this Saturday, where we're looking to make a lot more memories with these Grade 1 opportunities, we're going to have some big money-back specials. We're going to key in on the big stakes races from Saratoga, not only the Travers, but the Horse of the Year, Torpedo Anna, going to be running in a very strong rendition of the Personal Ensign. Yes, indeed, that big race from Del Mar, the 9th, is going to be in play, and the finale has one more race from